Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
yeah, going pretty good. Uh, Yesterday I played a game called Teardown. If you ever have seen that one,
No, I haven't
uh,
heard of it.
yeah, it's the one where like everything in the level is like destructible. It's all voxels, and you can just, I guess you start with like a sledgehammer. You can break stuff, and I guess you get other tools later on. I played with during this game night that I have once a week. Some other friends joined. We ended up like using mods to get like different like explosives and it was pretty fun. There's like you can sort of blow up like the supports for a building and it'll fall over. That causes stuff like that causes like a drop in frame rate, but the game handles it pretty well where it like recovers like smoothly from slower frame rates. But yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it was kind of a fun in my head. Like I'd always heard about the game, but I could never really piece together the idea that if everything's just like breakable, how could you inject like objectives into it in a clever way without just like the obvious solution being like break everything on the way to the objective and then run back to the end. But it's pretty smart. Like different tools are able to break different kind of materials, and some materials like can't be broken, and there's alarms, and so you have to sort of like you have to like pre-break the level and then like set off the alarm, grab the objective, and like get out and sort of have some kind of plan. Like so, you have to sort of like use the breakability of the level to like arrange everything to have a nice like extraction once you sort of set off. Because at some point you have to like set off the alarm by touching the objectives or something, and then you have to like get back to a certain location. But it's kind of fun.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like a little I guess like Katamari kind of in terms of like it's like, oh, how could you make a game out of this? Sort of like everything being able to be balled up into a uh
Oh yeah,
everything in the level is like interactable, but then yeah, it's like
yeah,
still
it's
really
interesting.
fun.
Yeah, I never actually played Katamari.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've only played
but
just
that's a
like a
good point.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like what would a level you just go wherever you want in the ball. But I guess you have to be a certain size to absorb like a certain class of thing.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't even remember what other things they did to make keep it interesting, but yeah, I yeah, I just remember watching people play it and being yeah, surprised. But
Yeah, and
that's
then
cool.
I've been having fun with like Slay the Spire too. Uh, it's interesting though. Sometimes like I sort of like I made it all the way to the final boss, but then I got killed. I guess the final boss is pretty powerful, but I could see how in the few battles like leading up to it and stuff, I started getting like some real cards that deal a lot of damage.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm pretty careful. Like I observe like clear like what I didn't actually like for a while I didn't realize you could clearly see like when the enemy was going to attack and how much damage they would do. But now that I see
Uh-huh.
that, I've tried a few runs where I specifically like I carefully plan my defense so that I take like a certain a recoverable amount of damage per fight, but sometimes I let damage through to get like other uh, to progress the fight or something. And I feel like I have a fairly good sense of like how to play to keep the momentum going. But I don't know. I guess I just don't have. It's interesting because in Balatro, you sort of show up in the game with the knowledge of poker hands, and so you kind of know like what is in your equipment. Like you start reading the jokers, and
Uh
you sort of know like yeah like how to always play a hand. But in this game, it's sort of a little bit. It's like, well, I don't know what cards exist. They could be anything, and so then it's kind of hard at the beginning to understand. It's like what exactly is gating my progress? Like, because it's not like my use of the deck because there could be like other cards that I don't have or something. So it's a little bit
okay.
yeah. It sort of feels like it's like do I own my power and skill or is something else deciding that or is this system like unfamiliar enough that uh like a certain amount of play is needed before you become familiar, but the way people talk about it, it feels like there's a lot of like a super depth to the complexity that can keep people occupied for like a lot of hours of play and maybe it's just like a matter, do I get familiar enough to like unlock that ability to like play into the systems, or do I not, do I always feel like a bit there's too much choice that I'm not familiar enough with like what am I actually choosing or something.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like for these like roguelike deck builder games, like or just like maybe most roguelike games, it's like have you heard of there's something with like relationship theory where like a lot of people sort of break up around like 3 months or like 3 years or like there's like specific like markers where like relationships either like move forward or don't.
That's
Um,
like human civilization or something.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Different stages,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel that way with these games a lot where like with Balatro, it's like after a certain amount of time, it was like, okay, no, I'm going to go deep with this and like beat the whole game basically, like because yeah, it just like holds that spell over me. Whereas this one, it's like enjoyable, like but then yeah, it doesn't have that same spell. I feel like I don't really have the urge to like I don't know keep playing. I'm interested in the co-op, like trying that out with more people, but yeah, I don't know. I also like, I think there was like like either something changed or like something happened with my brain, but it was like there was enough transfer learning from the first one where I basically like I beat the first ascension level for all the characters, like almost like all on my first try except for like yeah one of them I like messed up and then yeah I was like still doing all right like it, yeah I beat like another one and then now I've lost like 7 times in a row like I where I feel like I'm playing the exact same way but like maybe there was a patch or like some
Yeah.
balance change that was just enough to make my like previous way of playing like overly aggressive because now I feel like I usually am dying like near the end of Act One because I'm just playing too aggressive. So it's interesting how I don't know if that's true or not, but some feels like something happened with the balance that has made it. So I
Yeah.
have to sort of relearn how to play the game.
That's pretty interesting. I could see that being like very specifically the case because like if the dev is good, which I'm sure they are, then like your ease of play before whatever patch happened would have like that would have been the data they're looking at to be like this person beat everything on their first try, and I assume many other people did as well, like they came from the previous game that are in the early access. And so then it's like the tweaks are designed to make the game more balanced for that, for players that have had an easy time so far. So then
Yeah,
it sort of is, it's probably like the patch is specifically to address like the exact data that you've generated, and then and now it's forcing you to like play, like to learn a different play style. uh and
yeah,
yeah, it's like
totally.
specifically, yeah, it's specifically removing the easy play that people must have like learned based on the pre-patch like balance.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it's like a good thing. Like I yeah, I feel like starting to lose, if anything, is like more of a draw for me. Um, but
Mm.
yeah, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think with the first one, I played it like a similar amount of time, where it was just like kind of 20 hours. Like, I get the gist. Uh, like it's
Yeah.
fun, but that was it. And I think I might have the same thing here, or at least maybe I'll pop back in at 1.0 or something.
Yeah, it is interesting with the early access stuff. It's kind of fascinating how that is like just like big games that would have no problem just releasing and selling. They do like early access because I guess games that require like tweaking and stuff, it makes sense to do early access. But it's weird that early access, like the game's media sort of jumps on and starts talking about the game as if it's just like available and everyone's talking about it. So it's like, well, now's the time to jump in, but it is early access, and I feel like, it sort of feels like you're missing out if you don't jump in, but then it's in a state that's not like finalized, and I feel like most players would probably like enjoy it more if they just dropped in and felt like there's a big moment for like the 1.0 release. It's hard, like it's impossible to imagine that the game would be like just as fun now as it would be after the tweaking, because that's like the whole purpose of the tweaking. So that
Right.
it's weird though that like there's this big wave. It's almost like the game's basically released and we're just getting like some games now just give you like a little behind the scenes look, but it's sort of the same thing as like what if a game released with bugs or with like imbalanced, it would not look good if it was like 1.0, but it's not like there's a price discount, like a massive price discount or anything. It's just sort of like odd. It's odd to see like especially like a brand name sort of thing that has like a brand identity. It's weird they would like just that, yeah, it's like early access makes like beta testing like too public and easy, even with the warnings on the Steam page. It sort of feels like it's like, but I'm not like, I don't know if players are trained to like play the game a bit and then come back for, because there's never like a big moment where like Steam makes you aware like, oh, this game that you own just went 1.0 and there's like confetti on the screen and stuff, and then it lists like the new features. Like I feel like I don't, unless the press makes a big deal of it, I won't like believe that it's much different, or that like I'll feel like I already kind of played it or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what Steam does marketing wise. I try to like filter out as much of my emails as I possibly can, so I feel like I don't know like what, yeah, Steam marketing looks like, but um yeah, it feels, I feel uh early access is like for this type of game. um I think the pricing is like an interesting point where it's like, should it be, priced nearly as highly as the full game, or not? But the just the ability to get that amount of data from like hardcore players playing, a bajillion hours collectively, is like, for these types of games, like I don't know how else you could possibly do it, like balance them,
Yeah.
um, to where it's like satisfying for, because I like casual players like you and I like don't really care. I feel like as long as it's like interesting enough, like gives you enough choices. But then there's always like some segment for these games that are like really interested in the late game, and I don't know how you could possibly bounce for that without like that massive amount of like player
Yeah.
data over time. It's interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just, I guess it's sort of every time, like I feel like the concept of early access and the way Steam handles it and the press handle it, it's not in its like maybe final form yet. Like it's always like on the player to like be knowledgeable, like understand the state that a game is in and decide when to play it and have like the self uh like the willpower or whatever to like wait for the game to be in the state that you want it to be in before you
Yeah.
play it. Uh, but it's sort of like that'll like some people will do it, but it's it's nice when like an ecosystem is fully formed, and then like I could see more of like if an early access game was branded differently, instead of like early access, if it was some kind of like community, like if there was like a focus on like if there was like videos talking about the balance, like if it was like the press was not, you know, evaluating it in the same as every other game, they were talking more about the changes that they would like to see, or getting into like the details, knowing that like the focus and the feedback should be like the maybe the devs are listening to various podcasts and stuff, trying to like ready to make changes that are suggested or something. And if there's like a Discord and everything, then it would be more fun to feel like it's like, okay, we're part of like a community that's building a game kind of together, and uh like celebrating that it's changing, and
Uh-huh.
being more like critical of it, knowing that it could change, trying to, you know, make the best game. Like that would be sort of like a fun event, but it doesn't, there's not enough things done to like pull someone like me into it. I just feel like I still play it just like any other game. Like I press play, I expect it to be a fun game, and then and now there's like a promise that will receive updates making it like better at some point, but I'm not even sure. I've just played, so like I haven't played really episodic games or anything, so it's not like trained into me to like expect to like come back and reassess or something, or yeah, like later on.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's an interesting comparison to live service games. Like thinking about when Overwatch came out, I was like maybe the last. I mean, that was like 10 years ago or something, but that was like the last like I don't know game of that type that
I
I've
never really
played
got.
probably.
Were you like involved with? Did you like get into that and play it and follow it?
Um, like not really, just for like a month maybe. I was like really into it, and then after that, I would play like yeah once or twice a year, like. Um, but I was like really excited about it when it first launched, and then yeah, I would tune in and see the updates and things, and I feel like it's yeah the messaging there at least at the start was like I don't know. It was like really well done in terms of they had like this ongoing like narrative that would be updated, and when new characters were added, like that was always like a really fun event. And um, yeah, now it's obvious like everybody, I think, generally agrees that it went downhill, and uh, yeah, all of that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
logged off like way before that. But I don't know, like something about the way they did a live service game. I wonder if there's ways that these early access games could take notes of making things feel more. I guess it's also like that's so big budget in comparison, um, where they can just add
Yeah,
so
it's
much
almost like
production
the way
value.
that AAA would do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, AAA has no problem like getting all the art assets, you know. So it's like when they do early access, the game has like a level of UI polish where it's not really early access in terms of the UI or the art or anything. So then they just treat it like a live service period. But then a game like Slay the Spire, it's like, yeah, if they said live service, it would be weird that like people would be waiting on like an art update for a live service game post, you know, release. So then they have to, it's like live service in every way, but part of the live service is like waiting on final art, and therefore it looks not finished, and then it just becomes easier to like brand it as early access or something.
Yeah. And it's funny how like
But for me, I don't even, I can't actually, uh as I've played it so far, the art like looks good to me. Like it looks a bit like
yeah.
simplified, but that style for me, it's like, it just, to me it looks like this is a game about the mechanics, and the art is like a secondary thing, and so it's a little bit like minimalist and understated. But that is like, once I sort of see like, okay, there's like a mechanics game to be played here, then I sort of appreciate just the simplicity of the art. I feel like I wouldn't, I don't know what, you know, how it's going to be. Like, I don't have an artistic eye enough to see like what needs to be like brushed up or something. It all just looks like consistent pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, the MS Paint art is like really high quality MS Paint art for sure. Like they're both styles look good to me. Um, yeah, yeah, I was thinking about like how it's interesting expectation wise, like these early access games. Like I guess they the difference between early access and live service is like it like implies like a level of like unfinishedness, and then also like there's a stopping point where it's like we are no longer going to update it at a certain point after 1.0, and like bug
Yeah.
fixes and whatnot. But like thinking about Hades 2 and I don't know, like other games that are in early access for it's like they're in early access doing this like so much longer than like most quote unquote live service games last, you know? So like
Yeah.
I don't know, like if there could be like an expectation shift where live service games are just like, yeah, we're also in early access. Like, don't don't expect too much, and they can just keep iterating for until I don't know they feel ready to say that they're at 1.0. Like like there's like a weird like expectation management game, um, but that's all like I don't know over my head in terms of marketing, I guess.
Yeah, that would be so weird to be like a whatever it's called, like a community manager or something through that process, and just trying to like every day like waking up and trying to like get a sense for like how are people feeling or seeing this, uh
Yeah.
and trying to message and advise the team about like what the pacing that would keep people happy or something.
Right. Yeah. Tough job. Yeah. I'm in my like week alone this week, which has been interesting. Um yeah, just like in this tiny little place in Marin, and yeah, it's been good. I feel like I had space to like I've been doing just like a lot of writing and journaling.
Oh, that's good.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, and I think I'll probably spend I just have like a few more days um working on game stuff, but I guess I just have to pick which game I want to work on, because I have like I don't know like three different ones that I'm all somewhat excited to work on. So yeah, I don't know. I just have to be decisive. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my solo trip. How's
That's a
your
cool.
week
It's sort
been?
of like your trip seems kind of like a writer's retreat or like a game, almost like a little game dev retreat thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely trying to treat it that way, and
Mhm.
focus up a little bit. I have been somewhat binging this uh, reality TV show that's like so good. It's like the best. Like I'm not a big fan of reality TV in general, but like man, it's compelling stuff. Just like a lot of good character archetypes. It's called like Devil's Plan, um, and it's just like people like doing these um, puzzles, uh, and it's such like a good mix of like people solving very difficult puzzles and like all sorts of game theory stuff. Um, yeah, it's mostly like it's like very
Hmm.
involved versions of Mafia, the board game or party game,
Oh yeah.
um, and also just like making alliances and all that. But um,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. And it's set in South Korea. So like yeah, all the contestants are South Korean, so I feel like I'm also like learning. I know nothing about Korean culture, so learning a little bit about that through this. So that's been good. That's been basically my entire week is
That's
writing,
interesting.
watching that show, and yeah. Very
I
good.
never thought like uh like it makes total sense. Like it's sort of like what if reality TV was good? It's like, oh yeah, like I
Yeah.
guess if you just have people do something interesting, right? Like the ones whenever I
Right.
think reality TV now, I think like Survivor, which is decent, but it's got like it's not super amazing and there's like all these other reality shows where it's just like what if a bunch of people were like in a place and they just did things and then we like over dramatized it. But
Yeah.
it's like, how about we just have people do an interesting thing, and then it would be interesting because what they're doing is interesting, and they're people. And it's like we
Exactly
never thought
that.
about
You're right
that.
on. Yeah. Yeah. I was also thinking, I was like, yeah,
There
like
was
Survivor's also kind of good, but it's also, I don't know, like usually the challenges are
yeah,
kind of not that compelling. But yeah, this one, it's like, it's excellent. Yeah.
yeah. It reminds me. I think there's a show called like Super Game Jam, and it I found it like through Steam. It was like a TV show on Steam, and every episode was like two game devs that didn't formerly know each other would like get together and make a game like over the course of the episode, and then in real life it was like
Cool.
over the course of a couple days. Yeah, and I really like it was just like a one-off like 5 episode thing. But when you bought it off Steam, you would also get like links to all the games they made, which were also like on Steam as like basically, in whatever state like demos or something. And some of them were Windows and some of them were like Windows only or something like that. Uh,
Wow. That's
but that
such a
was
good
such a cool
idea.
thing because it
I'll have
was
to check that
exactly
out.
yeah, it was just yeah, it's like essentially reality TV show, but obviously just you get to see people make a game and so that was really cool.
Yeah. That sounds good. Hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Are
my I
you,
guess I'm still working on my like 40 minutes hip hop thing. Uh,
yeah. How's that been going?
I'll see. Yeah, I have when I sit down to write, I find actually I can get into a groove pretty fast, like because I have like a collection of beats and they're all like different beats per minute and stuff. And that's been actually fun as well. Like for the opening song, it was like 70 beats per minute, which is pretty slow. And but it was good for the opening. And then there was a couple beats that were like 98 beats per minute or 100, and that's my favorite because I think that's like a nice like fast cadence that's comfortable for me to speak at, like 98 or 100 beats per minute. And so that's like right in my perfect zone of like I have enough time to like say what I want to say, but also it's fast, so it sounds good to me. But then there was one beat that I happened to get that was well, I sometimes I can't like I count out the beats with like a metronome that tells me the beats per minute, or I upload it to like this website that scans and automatically tells the beat per minute. Uh, and so this song actually was a little bit ambiguous though because the automatic tool said it was 140, and like an argument could be made that it's 140 because if you sort of count like the pacing of the song feels fast, and there are like if you think about when the drums are and stuff, you can sort of count off to be like 140 beats per minute. But that and
Hmm.
so that's like kind of too fast for me to like talk at 140 beats per minute. But then what I did was I just count every 2 beats as like one beat, and that makes it like a 70 beats per minute song, which is like
Nice.
on like much on the slow side, but at least I can sort of keep pace with it. But I think I sort of wrote out lyrics and sort of like sang them in my head as I listened to the beat, and I think it worked out pretty well where I have these like full slow sentences, but the beat is kind of fast in the background, and so that was like the best of like normally it's hard to create like a sense of flow or something in like a 70 beats per minute. But with the 140, it was sort of like a high energy beat, and then you're just sort of like telling this slower paced story. And that I ended up being like happy with that so far. So that was fun.
Nice. Yeah, that
Uh,
sounds interesting. Um, yeah, because yeah,
mhm.
being better than like slow song, slow rap, to have like the juxtaposition of like slow rap but like fast song.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
It was a it was funny though because I had like four different scenes planned out, each with their own beat, and then I accidentally like with this like song I was just talking about, like the 140 beats that I sang at like a 70. I ended up like covering the story for like all four songs in this one song, and then I finished it and realized like I did that, and I was like, oh, like well this thing doesn't like it doesn't have to be 40 minutes, so I don't have to like expand it back out, and it's kind of annoying that it's like I'm pretty happy with what I wrote, so it's like I want to use this. I don't want to like separate it and write a bunch, like write four times the amount. Uh,
Yeah,
so I was like, I'll just keep that for now. Right, I'll write the other songs, and then I think it would still probably in total the thing will end up being around like just under 40 minutes or something. Uh, but there's sort of like no attack, nothing. I just sort of want to get like more writing out of myself. I want to keep going and writing as much as I have like motivation for, and I think it's cool if the longer it is. So that's the motivation. And yeah, I don't mind if I don't end up like filling out as much as needed.
yeah. If there's like
But
some
yeah,
overlap in the story
yeah.
across songs.
And I
Yeah,
did
that's cool.
yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So every Wednesday at 5 p.m. now I have like a I'm learning like I guess about GarageBand and then like I guess audio processing in general from this like instructor. So yesterday I had that lesson
Oh, cool.
and we talked. I just asked a bunch more questions about like he had taught me about the concept of a compressor, which I guess I think I mentioned that on here before, but it's like when the amplitude of the sound, like when a sound is loud, the compressor will like you can tell the compressor like a decibel threshold and then how much to subdue the sound past that threshold so that like really
Mm,
high peaks instead of clipping they get like rounded off and the louder something is the more it gets like compressed so that makes your tall peaks like it kind of shaves them down uniformly, which allows you to then like boost the amplitude of the entire track without like clipping stuff. So combined with those two things you can sort of like get rid of the louder noises and then boost everything overall, and it all
right.
sounds there's no like sort of clipping artifact. uh, and so that was like a concept that I did it once in like DaVinci Resolve. I used that technique, and I'll probably end up using it uh, for different like songs. But now for next week, I think I'll record like 1 3 minute section or whatever of my 40-minute thing, and then bring that into class as like again. Then we'll like sort of work through it in GarageBand, maybe how to like sort of do post processing on the audio in the most optimal way. Uh, in because yeah, I feel I've maybe I'll end up learning how to make beats in GarageBand. So then that's sort of an interesting thing for me. I'll learn more about like how to if I'm doing anything like incorrect or something.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, is this just like solo instructor or is it part of a group?
Yeah, just one on one in person. There's a place called Guitar Center near my house, so that it's
Nice.
working out pretty well.
Yeah, that's a good way to learn all that. That's cool. Yeah, I feel like I started to learn a little bit about uh, this stuff like yeah, describing compressors. Like there was some graph when I was learning that thing called strudel, like where you like write just like it's like kind of
Like as
looks like
code or whatever.
JavaScript. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the and it works in browser and it's yeah you can like write all uh, uh, the compressor in terms of code and um, I feel like I was like just beginning to grasp like some of these like audio processing techniques before I stopped, but it's like very interesting. I just began to uh, peek behind the curtain and see the like vast amounts of depth in the subject. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I've also been playing, speaking of music, a little bit of a Rhythm Doctor. Have you heard of this game?
I don't think so.
It's it's real good. Like it's really cool. It's just like a rhythm game where it it looks like kind of silly. Like there's just you're just like pushing the space bar on the fourth beat of the measure, or the seven of eight count. But then the amount of like first, like some of the songs are really good. There's like a whole story where you're like you're a intern at a hospital and you're like helping these patients with their heartbeats, um, sort of like defibrillate, I guess. um, yeah, the story's
Make
like
their
a little
hearts beat
wacky
to
and
their favorite.
yeah. Like I don't know. I think it'll end up being like it's mostly just kind of like fun. Though also I don't know, weirdly like dark, but like some of the songs are like really good, and I don't know what it is about it. Like I'm just pushing, this one button, but I feel like I just you get like so into the song. Like I'm just like, yeah, it like um, enhances the experience of listening to the music like so much. And I'm yeah, not like particularly good at the game. Like I bumped it down to easy just to be able to like continue making progress. But also like just like some of the yeah, I won't spoil it in case you check it out. I don't know. Um or I guess yeah, you said you don't really mind about spoilers in general.
Yeah. I
Um
don't, yeah, I don't really mind.
there's like there's like this moment where like it's like this second boss, and I so it's like fairly early, it's pretty early in the game, where um your screen uh like becomes like windowed, like the game screen.
Oh,
Like I was playing it
maybe
on.
Min-Max talked about this.
Oh, did
This
they?
might have been the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Maybe.
I
I just
saw like I checked it out because I saw a Jacob Geller video title that was like, I'm gonna like spoil these games, and then instead of watching it, I was like, actually, I think I'm gonna just play it because it looks cool. So yeah, I don't know. Probably some of this stuff is in that video. Um, but yeah, just like the the screen begins to dance and like become it's just like incredible like what some of the tricks it does. And yeah, really just inspiring game. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever played like a rhythm game before, like so explicitly, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I guess that'd be an interesting one to check out because I think this was the game they were describing where yes, it goes into windowed or something and then it's like showing you what you think is your desktop, or they had asked the question like what happens on Steam Deck, and then I think there's like a placeholder image or something that it can show to like indicate the desktop.
Oh,
But
interesting.
yeah, it's like one of those things where I don't have enough context of the game to like picture like why is that like a fitting thing for the game to do? Like why do people, why does that like work in the game? Like what does a rhythm game have to do with like breaking outside of the context of the game? And then the question of like
Yeah,
why don't more games do that, or like why is this game doing that? Uh, but it's like it seems kind of fairly unique, uh, like an unexpected thing that works apparently pretty well. People are saying good things.
yeah, it is like I wonder because it's only happened the one time, so I'm like I don't know. Maybe it was and it wasn't like particularly like or it didn't feel like particularly like there was a narrative reason for it. But I don't know. Someone could easily convince me. So I think it was more the surprise factor and like the song that is happening while you're doing that is like my favorite song so far by like quite a lot. Um, so yeah, it just like totally won me over. But yeah.
It's interesting what you said about like this pressing the space bar or pressing a button like brings you into the song more. It reminds me of like it's almost like listening to music versus like listening to music and doing like a like head bobbing. And it's like
Yes.
if you have some yeah, it's like people enjoy probably report enjoying the music more if they're like bobbing their head to it because they're I don't know why that would it's just like more it's like engaging other senses or something. And then this is just one more. This is like, yeah, but I guess also explicitly trying to keep time forces you to like be very aware of like you have to really listen to the music to get. So then it's just like sort of giving you a reason to like pay attention and avoid distraction when listening to music. And I guess that would make any music sound better if you just are if it brings you into a place where you're concentrating on it more.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I'm yeah, also like head bobbing the entire time I'm playing the game. Like as a yeah, way to keep in time and also just because it yeah, I can't help it. But
Funny
yeah.
that like some games like they'll say you know this game is best with headphones and it's kind of like the head like the way that the player listens to the sound of the game is like outside of the game but the game is it's like an instance where the game is recommending like a way to enjoy the game more but it's the same it's like kind of similar to like if it's saying the game is best with headphones, why not also say like this game is best if you relax and just you know get ready to like just kind of chill out and it's like because the game could also tell you like how to get into the right headspace to enjoy the game or like how to like to sit down and like you know it's like make yourself comfortable you'll enjoy the game more uh,
Yeah,
but then
great
also
point.
like head bobbing. It's like, you know, they could also say like this game is better if you head bob. It's
Yeah.
like you can't like it's like well yeah, but you can't request me to do that because that's not like a control an official control, you know. But it's like obviously the game is better if you press the space bar because you lose the game if you don't because they can like measure if you do that or not. But they can't it's like if they could track your head motion, then they could explicitly like require head bobbing. But then it's sort of like it would be more fun, but it's also more fun if you have the freedom to not or something. And that's a weird. It's the same thing with like the windowed thing. Is like they. It's like what can they control and what can't they control and what can they recommend. Uh,
Hmm.
there's this whole space of like, and it's all just like obviously they want you to enjoy the game. We want to enjoy the game. So it's this weird working it's like working together with some people that designed an experience to try to like get the best out of it but then often uh I find myself maybe I'm kind of like lazy that way like I'm not really willing to I want something else to like bring me I don't want to do the work of because it's sort of like I could do infinite things to like get into the right headspace I can do like research and everything but I'd rather
Yeah.
I find like movies are very effective for that where it's like I know how to just like turn on a movie and then sit in a chair and the movie will often do the job of like bringing me further into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that's like a that's such a interesting space to explore for like a lot of media maybe is uh like with movies like I know there's some people that really like those there's like those movie theater experiences that are like where the chair like kind of is moving the whole time and like you I don't
Oh yeah.
know like the movie Twister or something like and it's like a bit of a theme park roller coaster feel but yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of the at GDC, those projects that are all creative.
Yeah, alt control. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Like I wonder if that's like a gonna be a direction that games could go, is just like weird
Yeah.
peripherals, and it's hard because it's like hard to see how that could be like mass produced and profitable. Like I guess Guitar Hero is like the last one I can think about that did that seemingly successfully, but like those were really
That would
cool.
be
Like
cool. A
I was
cool
a
way
big
for
fan.
like arcades to come back. Like
Yeah.
imagine like a if yeah like you could rebrand like arcades as like whenever you walk in, there's like a bunch of like alt control games. And I guess the way it would work is like if you're a game developer, you could choose to like develop like an alt control game and then like tour the country or tour the world and visit like different arcades with your game. Uh, that and then like people would like be like, oh, this game is there this week, and like new games would be in there, and like I guess it would
Touring
help if there was
setup.
like government funding for the arts. Like anybody, yeah, anybody could like make a wacky game or students, and it would sort of be up to the venue to like curate and invite. Uh, I guess just I'm trying to think of like a parallel to that. I guess like museums have rotating exhibits that's on sort of a longer time scale, or like
Yeah.
bars have like an act, a weekly act or something that's coming through town, a comedy act or something. I guess a
Yeah.
comedy club is kind of like that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That's a that's a cool idea. I would like to live in that world. It's like a traveling circus troops of game developers. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a cool. I listened to it's called Panic World. It's the podcast that is related to the Garbage Day newsletter. But this guy that runs Garbage Day and Panic World, he's like a internet culture researcher, and he's like pretty good at it. But this week's episode, they were talking about Cicada 3301, the like bizarre hard like crypto puzzle thing that was on the internet for a while, like
Oh,
a
I
few
haven't heard
decades
of
ago or
this.
something. Uh, yeah, it was people debated like who was behind it, but it was kind of like a series of escalating in difficulty, just those typical puzzles you see, sort of like, there's a secret URL hidden in this image, and if you find it, you visit the website, and the website gives you like another clue to go somewhere else. But then
Hmm.
at one point they did this big reveal where at least like eight to 12 clues all at once, but each clue was like located at a physical latitude longitude all across the world, and you could like go there and there'd be like a telephone pole with a clue on it, and so this whole like internet forum was sending people out, and like or whoever happened to live there would post on the forum. But then there was a bunch of people like faking clues, and so it got confusing, and nobody ever really, I think, took credit for like being Cicada 3301. People had different theories about like who it was. Uh,
Hmm.
but at one point in the episode, this is how this relates to what we were talking about. They concluded that uh, there's certain ingredients in society that need to be in place in order to like manufacture bizarre bizarre, well planned out, exciting things that you sort of you go on the internet, you find this weird thing that's like weirdly well done, but nobody is demanding money from you, or nobody's like taking credit for it. uh
Uh-huh.
but then it's sort of but it's like it makes your brain sort of like really suddenly like be very impressed with humanity, where you stumble upon something that's like like for that second you're like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and it's free, and it's just someone just did it, and they don't seem to be like, they don't have to do it as a career, they just like one off did this thing. And that's like a magical moment where it's like, damn, like humans are really good at just like doing stuff, and we don't need this whole structure like capitalism and to extract like all the juice or whatever. But they kind of said that what you need, like if you want that stuff to happen, you need like funding for the arts, so that people can sort of just like do stuff without having to transform it into like a money making entity. And they had they had like two more criteria or something, just like different things that would like put the like press on the levers for uh yeah, like creating these giving people just the freedom to like be weird, and then so that other people can like find it and get inspired also.
Yeah, yeah. I it's a very like interesting subject in terms of thinking about like what we've lost in that respect. Like, uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, like the things that have happened where that type of thing, I just couldn't see it holding the same level of um, like. Oop.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, it feels like people almost like wouldn't let their guard down enough to like enjoy, even if they started finding that stuff. We just have like a reflex to be like suspicious of that stuff, and uh I always feel like whenever I see that stuff now, I feel jealous because it's sort of like I want to do cool stuff, but like I just never feel like the resources are there to support me. It's always like it's like sure I could do it, but it would be crazy to like it would start with just like so much bureaucracy and risk taking and like network building and everything just to get to a point where I could like relax and do fun stuff. But you can't even. You have like a time deadline and grants that you have to like meet, and then the product has to be like the product is going to be like owned by someone or something like that, or like
Yeah,
evaluated. Yeah.
yeah. It just feels kind of overwhelming to uh, even begin. Yeah,
There's
it's
an
really
interesting thing. There's like one artist that's doing something interesting on YouTube, I guess primarily called like he's called Miles, and he's written like it's like silly rap songs, almost like a parody of rap, but they're like kind of their own thing where he sort of intentionally doesn't rap in time with the beat, and he said he does like silly, he has like a silly voice at times, or like he's like saying nonsense, making just like noises or something like that, and then the video is always like it's like him messing around outside some like abandoned store in a parking lot like at night, and the video's like sped up 2 times and he's just sort of like walking around. But then he started posting, but also he wears like a ski mask all the time. So you don't fully, you can't like, he doesn't have like a public persona or something. Uh, and so then in some of his recent videos, he's addressing the fact that like he doesn't get taken seriously from like a monetization point of view. He says that like he, sponsor like even though he has like many videos that go over 1 million views, like spanning like the last decade or something, he's not like getting sponsors, he's not getting invited to like industry events, or he's not able to like monetize. Like he says a lot of his stuff, like people will clip his stuff and put it on SoundCloud, and then he ends up like because SoundCloud and or whatever Spotify, they can't tell the difference between like an upload, like a fan upload and the original. So they don't really, you don't get paid in that sense because your original, like the original you upload is not getting streamed directly, or they can't tell. And so he has videos where he's sort of saying like he wants to specifically be like an entertainer and keep making videos that clearly like entertain people. But because his videos have like a silly, like you can, if you look at it, you can tell the production value is like very thoughtful, but it's kind of intentionally designed to look like low key and almost like by accident and very rough. And it does like a good enough job, I guess, that it when people see it, they're like, "Oh, this is just like some kid messing around." But if you start to look at the track record, you're like, he's got like a artistic voice here. And he's doing it like intentionally, but then he's now saying that like it's not really sustainable financially. But he does want to keep like doing it so that. But and then now, so I saw like a couple of monologue videos from him with that, and then his most recent track is like more of like a musical monologue about that same concept. And so I thought that this is like fascinating. It's sort of like this is a guy trying to be silly on the internet and almost in the way that like everyone was at one time. And now he's doing it in like he's like got this powerful, like authentic voice where he's just like joking around, and it really lowers like, it's one of those things that like lowers the bar. It's like, yeah, this is just like fun and it's interesting for some reason. You can't really say why. And you'd hope that that would be sustainable, but you can see like he's sort of being like intentionally not wanting like a 9 to 5 job. Like he wants to do this, internet culture thing. but it's it's like even making a bunch of videos that have 1 million views, it's not supporting him. So that's kind of an interesting thing to see, like at this current year, about like where we are in terms of, can people just like joke around and survive based on that.
Yeah, someone who's like clearly so entertaining, with like a
He's done,
strong
like
voice.
the review guy. Do you know like Fantano, the music review guy? He's like fairly big. But
I think
Miles has
so.
done like a collab with like Fantano as well.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, I feel like I occasionally have these like moments of like, I don't know, horror feels like a strong word, but just like kind of seeing through like the Matrix a little bit. Where like I just got Netflix for this month, just to watch the new One Piece season, and I was just like looking through and I was like, oh, like all these shows look the same. Like there's like,
Oh,
just in terms of
yeah.
how they're
I've heard of
marketed and like
that.
the content. What's that?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've never like on Netflix especially, I've never done like, I've heard of the infinite scroll, where it's just like there's can't be this many shows and it never ends, and it's like almost like anxiety inducing, where you're like, I should be at the bottom by now. Like I want there to be a finite number of shows and I want one of them to be one that I would want to watch, but it just like never ends. But that's interesting to hear your report of like encountering that sort of in the wild. And yeah, I feel that as well. Like you just look at all these thumbnails and you're like, that's that
yes.
kind of show and I'm not interested, and like that's this, and like, there's like these clickbait. It's just like, oh, that person's making that expression. Yeah, that's the whole show is just based on that one actor making that one expression, like next or whatever.
The thumbnails, yeah, it's like such a, oh, it's so tough. Yeah, it's like I feel for like people that are trying to make a living on YouTube, like, having to like do the thumbnail reaction faces. Um, where like like something I've noticed with like certain people is they'll just like, instead of varying it up, they'll just like take like one thumbnail face photo and put it for like all their videos. And as like a, I don't know, it's like almost like, yes, I have to do this, because if you don't do it you just simply don't get as many views. um but it's like a mild form of protest almost. um but yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I feel like it even, I think it affects the art that people make, like, um subconsciously or
Like where the
consciously.
money goes. Yeah.
What's that? Sorry.
Like if you're like a working artist, you want a show to make money and it's got to be on Netflix, then it's basically going to be forced to like blend in, like they're not going to take a risk on what you want to do. They're just going to like only buy your idea if it's like the bland same script that they know will make like a cash cow sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, Netflix is like a maybe slightly more extreme version, like, because I guess it's, curated. But but yeah, I feel like YouTube, yeah, also very similar, um, in terms of, I don't know, and like, yeah, I feel like the YouTube algorithm is like, I saw like there's like some studies where like it sort of confirmed everybody's suspicions that it's like, yeah, like YouTube will. I feel like there's always this feeling that like YouTube is constantly trying to like, um, send people down these like conspiratorial rabbit holes.
Yeah.
um, and
Yeah.
like, yeah, I feel like everybody sort of knows that that's like the case, but it's like, oh no, like specifically like sort of like the fascist ones, like it was like some researchers actually like, took the time to like, okay, like what exact rabbit holes are we talking? And it's like, yeah, no, there's a real bent towards a specific type of rabbit hole. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, and media companies getting more and more gobbled up, and conglomerated. Like, yeah, I'm like trying to. I'm contemplating just like going full physical, like just like buy tapes at the local video store.
Right.
Just kind of try and log off from algorithms as much as humanly possible. Just for my own, not that that changes the world, but just for my own sanity. Um,
Yeah, I feel like there's a dilemma where like if you started going to the store and getting tapes and watching stuff, I feel like there's a creative energy that's like generated by that. That's like the valuable stuff where like one should make like a video about going to the store and renting tapes and then especially intentionally watching like a tape and then having thoughts about the show, like then bundle those thoughts up and like create some kind of video, which then the problem is then like where do you put a video on the internet if you sort of just want to find the people that enjoy the video and
Right.
then is like basically put it on YouTube. But then it's weird to think like, yeah, so I guess the ideally if it worked out, it would be like nobody ever watches YouTube videos. We just go to the store, rent tapes, and then have experiences, and then the things we create are videos and we put them on YouTube. And then maybe in the future, like when we go back to YouTube, it's full of like a bunch of experiences once again. Like I guess that was the original, like before YouTube, people just did have experiences. Then they started video recording the experiences and putting real experiences on YouTube. But now we're at a moment where like YouTube is full of just like all people do is watch YouTube videos and then make YouTube videos, and it's like a feedback thing. So then it does make sense like to break that we need to like stop watching YouTube for a while and just like live life and then capture, like that would be my idea, is like capture life being lived and do something creative with it and make videos. And then hopefully whenever we do actually go back to the internet, to YouTube, we're just shown a feed of like actual life experiences rather than some kind of weird like 100 times fed into itself like reactionary videos or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like yeah. And to me, it's like there's such a difference between like 2014 YouTube and 2026 YouTube, where like
Yeah.
I feel like 2014 YouTube, like it could be part of like a mentally well life, like sustainable sort of like creatively uh, energizing. Where it's like it's tough with like 2026 YouTube, like uh, yeah, it's like I feel like I try to just like watch what I want to watch and not get sucked into anything else, but um
Yeah, I had such a funny algorithm experience recently where when the like basically when the Epstein files came out, uh I forget what first videos I watched in regards to that, but I quickly got presented with like this forensic analysis guy who was
uh,
like doing an analysis of like, like looking at the like which cameras went out and what did the emails, and he was doing like he would look at people in interviews and do like body language analysis, and he was sort of promoting the theory that like did Epstein like, kill himself in jail or not?
mhm,
And so I sort of like watched a couple of those. I was sort of like, yeah, like especially with the release of the files, it's like, okay, there's enough like new information that maybe there is something here. But after I sort of like found him, and then like through his channel, I saw a bunch of other interviews that were like rehashing the same like files and then analyzing different files. Uh, and so then my feed became like all these like individuals on YouTube that like do like these report, like they deep dive on files like this whenever there's like these files. Or now a lot of the same people are like doing an interview, like 3 interviews a day with like Iran reporters and stuff like that. But then it's funny because like there's a certain amount of like I do want people to summarize that info and give it to me, but the same channels will like seamlessly go into like it's like, is this a body double? Like the ears don't match or something, and they'll
yeah,
keep
yeah.
like, and they'll be like, well, that obviously is nothing, and then uh yeah, there's one guy that's like, this video keeps popping up that's like all the top UFO experts keep disappearing, and it's like, well, maybe one did, and probably there's a reason for it, but like they got like all these like they've got like 12 photos and they're like, look, all these people are disappeared, and it's like, no, like, but your other video was good when it summarized like the real stuff. But I can see that like there's a really close, like if I just started watching videos, I would very quickly be on like the everyone's a body double and there's UFOs and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
pipeline. But it's like I can't, it's like the same, yeah, so it's sort of, but it's like, but there, it's like there was some kind of real, like when the files got released, it was like there really is some real truth to some conspiracy theories, but that's opening the door really wide to like ones that are kind of similar, but like might take a while to like learn that they're kind of false. And uh I was surprised at how quickly like my timeline just changed into like every creator that wants to tell me about like uh so a few valid facts and then go right into like these conspiracy things.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, like the the media landscape is so bleak, like at least for the US. I can't speak to it's just like, like there's only a handful of these like newsrooms with any sort of like journalistic standards, not like owned by billionaires that are currently
Yeah.
like it's like it's rapidly dwindling. So it's hard not to turn to like other sources, but then it's like once you lose the sort of journalistic standard aspect of it, then you get like the body double stuff like thrown in there where you're like, wait a second. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know, it's hard.
That was weird too. It's weird how the whole body double, like especially with AI, has really blurred the line where like now like mainstream media outlets will like they'll be like there was like a person in a studio with like a wall sized like screen and they're like doing like a Minority Report thing, but it's like it looks like as you would think like the regular news is styled, and they're like there was belief like at this, this post believes that like this was AI, but then like they sort of like do like a very like adult sounding account of this thing that's
Yeah.
like is the president of this other country like AI currently or not? And
Yeah.
it's like you don't like just having a segment on this is kind of dangerous, like even though you're concluding that like there's no reason to believe that, but it's like you're kind of like touching on a lot more than you need to here, like like
Yeah, totally. I just read like a brilliant comic, like sort of one shot about where this person is like there's like all these there's continual fake outs around like what is real and what is not. Just sort of alluding to AI and also I guess just like media in general, where by the end like they cannot tell and like you as the reader can't tell either. um, yeah, I thought it was like really well done, but also just like in a way that where it hits so close to home that it's like uh, yeah, feels feels a little too real.
yeah, that was the thing that I don't think people like I didn't think along these lines that like people were kind of concerned. It's like, what if we can manufacture fake videos that look real? But the other side of that is, what if we start thinking that real videos are fake? And that's a
Yeah.
point we're at now too, where like, yeah, like you can, like a video can be real and we don't really believe it either. So it's both, yeah, it's like both sides where it's just like, it's like, oh, we can't, uh, we don't know if any video is real or something.
Yeah, unless we see with our own eyes. Yeah, it's not a promising situation for
Mhm.
shared truths.
Yeah, I keep relating it like back to cars, thinking like people thought it's like once we have cars, how like why would we exercise? But then I guess it's yeah, here's an interesting parallel is like once everybody has a car, there'll be no reason to walk anywhere. But also, once everyone has a car, there won't be anywhere to walk. And it's both. So
Mm.
that's the maybe the both. That's like both sides. Is like if you want to go walk outside, good luck because you're walking next to like a road. But
Yeah.
and it's like who like I don't think people even realize that they sort of feel like they still feel like well cars are so convenient, why not use them to drive? But they don't think about how like it's actually really unpleasant to walk in the first place because of cars, and that's sort of the same like two sides of the coin as like real videos being mistaken for fake or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting
Yeah, because that's the
parallel.
same as the internet, right? That's like it's like when there's so much fake info on the internet, uh, how will we like find the real info? But then also it's like the real like it's now like it's like people are not like they know that they want to read real stuff, but the problem is it's just impossible to find real stuff because there's
Yeah.
so much like fake stuff, and you can never even mistake the real stuff for fake or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Increasingly just like not shared realities. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel the thing, yeah, just to conclude, I guess, the thing you mentioned about like the Netflix, I feel like Netflix providing us with like an infinite content stream of like bland content is really it's like a powerful force that they have there where it's like how can we resist like we go to Netflix, we scroll the page, it presents like an infinite amount of options for us, which like overwhelms our brain where we're like I guess pick one. Like it makes it seem like there can't be more content outside this. Like this is all content or something. But it's like we're already trapped inside this like dull, boring like dome that they've convinced us like is the whole world or something. And so I sort of almost feel like art, like my instinct is like if I want to beat, like if I want to, like my thing is like hip hop now. And so it's like, could I write like a piffy, like 3 minute hip hop song that like says what they're doing there. Like it just comments on like this is what they're doing. This is like the different categories. Like sort of, I imagine like showing a video of different like thumbnails on Netflix, and just commenting quickly on like you know like different categories of thing or how they're all kind of the same or blending together. And if that's done properly, I feel like that pushes back with like an equal amount of force where now like if you give someone that song, it embeds in them like a rhythmic way of like thinking about or like identifying like the content, waterfall or something. And then once they have that embedded in them, they're like vaccinated against it and they don't feel like they're powerless to resist it. They have like a theme song they can sort of fall back on that rhymes and rings as like true to them. And so it's almost like this that like true good reality delivered as like a song allows you to like verbalize or point to something when you are presented with like this amount of content that claims to be like authoritative and like oh you must find something that you enjoy here. If there's like it's like a protest song or something against it, I feel like that's almost like they come with like a certain amount of energy trying to capture us, and then we get to use that energy as like we need to push back with like an equal amount of energy, and therefore we can create like art with energy to do it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that take. I think, uh, yeah, I think that those forces eventually, um, like break through because it's like the meaningful experiences in people's lives are like sort of never going to come from, I don't know, like the stuff that's like sanitized and
Yeah.
sold back to us. But
Yeah.
but it is hard to get through like the numbing of it all. It's like, yeah,
Yeah. A movie that maybe got me thinking about this is like called The Secret Agent. I guess Min Max actually did like a spoilers on it. and then I
Oh
watched
yeah,
it
I've been
after
meaning to
listening.
check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like I listened to the whole Min-Max episode first, and that I think helped me like it's a movie that like is they it doesn't really like hand you the story. It sort of like does the story, and then you can be aware of it. And I feel like the Min-Max thing helped prime me to like understand better what was going on and just kind of enjoy it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a well done movie, and it does really a good job of like really hitting. I think it's an important film for like today, where it's just like in a state in the situation that the state in the movie is in at that time. It does a good job of showing like it's just like humans living their life uh, despite the corruption and stuff that's going on there. Yeah, it's just sort of like life continues but is made weird in the same that all way that all life is weird by these
Yeah.
like overarching systems that are just in every little aspect. They show up everywhere and they're always like twisting reality, but you just sort of continue living because you can't like think about it all the time. You just have to like go along with the absurdities or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that divide's important for this moment. Yeah. I just watched One Battle After Another, the one that like won the Oscar, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
That I've never seen that one and I don't know what to think about it because I haven't seen it. I don't know, but I was confused with the like a lot of people the way they reviewed it. I wasn't even sure. Yeah, it was hard to understand it's like is this like a problematic, Hollywood handing down the revolutionary ideas to us sort of film, or does it have some good ideas in it? Uh but it's like I've lost the plot in terms of like who's the or is it, it's like are they trying to co-opt our ideologies or are they like shaping them in a compelling way, but we resist that because we don't trust them or something? I have no
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I was similar. Like, yeah, I went and watched it with like a couple of friends who had like, one of them it was like their fourth time seeing it, and yeah, I think
Wow.
mostly because they just like really love movies, and, like the cinematography of everything, um, and like yeah, I'm similarly like I haven't because I've been sort of in my little writer's retreat area. I haven't even looked at like reviews yet. Um, but man, yeah, it's so interesting. Like that movie. Yeah, in my opinion, like definitely not um like trying too hard to like to teach anything about like how to do revolution or like I think yeah, some parts were like a little frustrating where I feel like there's like some misrepresentations, but yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it was also just like long. Like, like I'm just like not used to movies that are like, I think it was like 2 hours 40 minutes or something.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's the length of the Secret Agent, 2 hours
oh
40.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think
Yeah, it
for
is definitely long.
yeah, it's like I know. Yeah, there's like a lot of like Bollywood films that are like always 3 hours, and I guess you can just get used to it. But for me, it felt long. But yeah, the cinematography was incredible, but uh, and yeah, it's like very explicit about uh, like current evils happening. But yeah, really interesting movie in terms of like it's. I was like, how did this win the Oscar? Like I enjoyed it. I didn't like love it. Like I don't know. It's yeah. I still just don't know what to think about it. There's some like really cool. Like there's one car chase scene where like they are going over these hills and they have like they hooked up a camera to the front of like the car and it's like in the desert and it's just like man like I've never seen something like that. It's like so kind of simple, but just like well done. And yeah, there was like a lot of little things like that that were, um, yeah, and like incredible acting performances. But yeah, for the story overall, I'm just like I it's like operating on two weird registers where like one it's like kind of funny, one it's like deathly serious and horrible, and then
Yeah.
and then another is just like, oh, it's like a fun action movie, and it's like and it's just like switching between that constantly. So I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to think about it, but
That does sound like today though, like that it's like capturing the essence of our experience. Like if you just say that one sentence of like switching between like comedy and tragedy and action, that is like our the daily experience today is just like every second you don't know what you'll be presented with, which of
yeah,
those
kind of
three.
confusing. Yeah, yeah, maybe it's a meta commentary on how life is confusing, the tone of the movie being confusing.
But
Yeah.
I think I watched FD Signifier and Man Carrying Thing as like two people that reviewed it. And
Oh,
based
what
on
they
what
think?
they said, yeah, I came away feeling like it, it's like they enjoyed the movie, but it was like progressive for progressive's sake. But they didn't quite say that. They sort of left it like I guess I'll like yeah, I feel like I should watch it just because I can't really get a sense of what it is until I watch it also, and maybe even after I watch it, of course, I might not be sure. But in terms of that winning the Oscar, yeah, I didn't follow the Oscars. I didn't know what won, but that's interesting to hear that it won the Oscar. But my instinct, like, and still because I haven't seen it, I have no idea. But my gut instinct is like a bunch of white guys like vote for the Oscar, and if you ask them like what you show them every movie that happens, and you're like, pick a movie, like knowing that like today the youth are progressive, pick a progressive movie so that you guys they'll think you're still relevant, and then it's like, yeah, this one probably like wins on that account because it's like based on the actors in it and like the production value and uh like it's sort of like it's like, oh yeah, the progressive film, like the it's like pick a progressive film that's not heavy-handed enough to trigger bad reviews, but just kind of leave people like having to need to see it because they're not sure what it is, then give it the Oscar to like validate the Oscars as an institution and how it's connected with culture, and just have all these people like all these wealthy people like nod along to that. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's probably what I would expect like today.
yeah, I think that's so like probably like I
Yeah, it's like how
generally
could
like
that not
agree
be
with
true? But also, damn it, like why
yeah,
is it still like it's
yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that's like probably like a big
like they
force
got it
in
together.
like recent years. But yeah, this movie in particular, I'm just like I don't know, like it's just like it's hard to pin down its exact like the movie's politics. Like yeah, it's a weird
I just
one.
feel there's one scene in the trailer that I keep thinking of, and it's like, oh, black lady shooting a gun, and then she turns and she's pregnant, and it's like
Yeah,
like I don't know if I need to see more. Like I think I understand what the movie is trying to tell me just from that, and like it doesn't. It seems like, of course, that's what they're pitching to me. They think they know who I am, and they're not gonna like get me on this one. But then it's like, but then you see the reviews and everything, and it's like, well, apparently there's more to this film. So, like
yeah,
I'm not allowed to like judge it for that one scene, which I think I can dissect like the whole thing, but then uh because it's like, why would they show me that scene? They obviously think they've done something important here with that, but it's
yeah.
like, I don't know if you guys got it yet. Like you're still a bunch of rich white people in Hollywood, so I don't know if like showing me that is gonna like get my money to give you money.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's like the movie almost like has reactionary strains in it. Like, where like even that character, like I think the movie is like both like fairly judgmental of, and then like becomes like very almost against in a weird way, and in like
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it
yeah,
goes
it's
all over
funny
the
because
place.
it's like, yeah, because what I've briefly heard about some of those characters is like, oh, they're like really excited to do like violent revolutionary acts, and it's like well, it's like we all should be because there is like bad things happening, and we need to like push back and get excited about that. But also like violence is bad, and we also like we're like very self-aware, so it's like we if we realize we are violent revolutionaries, that's not cool anymore. We need to like find some less violent avenue, but also like that's not that doesn't feel like it feels like that what they want us to do. So then we have like we don't it's like we can't pin down our own identities, and every time we do, they like Hollywood will comment on it, and so then it's like, well, we can't do what Hollywood just like rolled like the script they gave for us, but also the script is like self-referential and twisting. So then it's like trying to stay one step ahead of us in terms of like
Yeah,
characterizing who we are, and but then we're like it's creates this like knot where it's like how do we process this film that they've given us, like is it one step ahead of us or one step behind, or like are we changing who we are to like get away from the narrative they've tried to like pin on us or something, and uh
yeah,
it just leaves us
They,
confused.
it's so so confusing and like I don't know. I think like there's like a strain of like I think yeah, like one important thing for me politically is like to sort of uh like how to phrase like I be disciplined and like in terms of uh like I think like a sort of like a progressive and like the progressive uh, alliance with a more like militant left I think is like must be preserved. Like uh, people that are another way of saying like people that like have all sorts of different tactics in terms of like
Yeah.
resistance. I think should just like all support each other and like accept that people might have different ideas about like what to do and like that's great. That's totally fine. But then I don't know. This movie I feel like does some stuff that is like very judgmental of like certain ways of resisting and then like yeah promotes certain other ways and yeah I don't know and then like at the end like strikes like a weirdly hopeful note about like a very specific form of resistance and it's like yeah I don't know I kind of that left a slight bad taste in my mouth about like it's like yeah I don't tell me what to do like old white director you know like yeah type of
Yeah,
thing.
these I feel like basically like things are coming down to like violence these days and like whether or not it should be used, and I'm confused about the concept of like the state having a monopoly on violence, especially in an era where the state clearly misuses violence in the worst ways and then still wants to have a monopoly over it. But it's like uh it's just confusing in that it's like that makes sense to me in theory that like the state has a monopoly of on violence, but if but violence being like I've recently learned the term like force majeure, where it's like if violence is a force majeure, then the state wins on every account by using violence, which they have a monopoly over. And the only hope that we have is like the state will have restraint on the use of violence, but it clearly like maybe never did and especially doesn't today. So if they're telling us like do whatever resistance you want except for violence, which we have a monopoly over, then it's like, well, you didn't really give us anything at all because you'll just use violence to like tramp on whatever, and the
Mm.
rest of it is just pretend. But also, it is like it is does not seem productive to do violence either. Uh, so then it's like, what are we left with then? Like to just like yeah, it's sort of like what's the path forward, except for like we need some like people to just kind of rein in the power of the violent power of the state, and then have like a negotiating table, if that's even possible going forward, to have like some kind of civil discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like one thing I hear in that is like it's like a very like I think the only thing that you can like make a like a I think mistakes around questions of violence come from like oversimplifying, where like yeah, violence bad, not violence good. Like yes, like
Yeah.
generally true, and also like like okay, like it becomes so complicated so very quickly when there's like a violent state, rounding up thousands and thousands of people,
Yeah.
and like yeah, it's like a very sort of complex moral political question of like how to act in these times that I think just gets oversimplified, and I kind of don't like uh yeah, I don't like the idea of the big budget Hollywood person sort of uh like saying uh their piece on it, like I'm kind of uninterested in what they have to say compared to
Yeah, that
like
is a
a lot
fascinating.
of other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I always think that's very interesting. Like actually I saw like a short clip. I guess we're going long, but so feel free to, if you got somewhere to be or something, I guess. I also don't want to take up your alone time in the cabin too much.
Yeah, nowhere to
But
be,
yeah, I was
but
just gonna mention, yeah, on this concept, there's like a line where it's like so I saw this like quick clip of like the BlackRock CEO sitting in an interview being like, if we don't get control of the price of the barrel of oil, there'll be this recession. And I was just immediately thinking like, oh yeah, and of course BlackRock has no responsibility to like do it. Like if there is a recession, and BlackRock could easily just like lower the prices of all houses in the entire US, which it owns, like it has no
yeah,
obligation to do that. And of course, that's above, like, they can never lower their prices or give any sort of break or discount or pay taxes even. But like they can comment on, oh, if the price of oil goes up, I mean, it's out of our hands. Like all I can do is use my expert CEO powers to like advise you. It's like based on my brilliant knowledge of being the CEO of BlackRock, I can tell you that what you don't want is for the price of oil to go up, because then we'll of course have no choice but to like get price gouge everyone in the US, and that will
yeah,
trigger a recession. But it's like no fault of us. I told you. And it's like it's like I think that guy is not allowed to like say that. Like I think the solution to all of this, even before anything, is like tax the rich, and that's the only thing to do. And he is the rich. And here we are listening to him say like, it's like, well, if the price of this thing goes up, which is totally unrelated to my thing that I'm doing over here, like I guess I'll just have to make more money, and it'll be unfortunate for me to watch everyone else be in a recession. And it's like all I can do, of course, is tell you not to go down that road, even though I'm the reason you're going down it right now and will continue to go down it and can't get out of it. But
yes,
it's like,
yes,
what can this guy possibly say? Like, you know,
yeah. Hard agree. Yeah, I think like yeah, the uh yeah, strongly resonate with that. Like the like philosopher guy Femi Taiwo, who wrote the Elite Capture book. One thing that was just like so pithy that I think about a lot is like he was like, yeah, like the idea with like trying to resist this sort of idea of elite capture is um like it's your neighbor might not have like the exact politics that you like, and um that's he's like, I have no illusions about that, like we exist in a society with like all sorts of ideas, but like it is much better to be in a position where you're negotiating, uh you're talking, you and your neighbors can make the decision around like how to best combat climate change, compared to like trying to negotiate with the CEO of ExxonMobil. like that there's a massive power imbalance there, and like that's like the current system, you know. So it's like we got to get away from that to where we're like, you know, like yeah, where Elon Musk doesn't like control the fucking election. Like that's like that's like step one,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that phrase, like rearranging chairs on the deck of the Titanic or something. It's such a funny like analogy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
good talking to you.
Yeah, that's good.
Back to my Raiders retreat slash
Yeah.
reality TV show binge.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Good luck with all that. That's what the world needs is I think that is like if people can do exactly what it sounds like you're doing, I feel like that is like the magic sauce of like freeing our minds from the thing. But more like I certainly should like try to carve out more ways of doing that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, the journaling is like brutal, but helpful. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good. All right. Yeah, I'll see you probably next time then.
Sounds good. See ya.
Later. Bye.